All right, Michael, shall we uncover it?
I think we ought to do, aren't we?
Shall we?
Tell you what, I would.
Yeah, I think this definitely is my favourite angle of the bike. It shows off the wings. It just looks really, really naughty. There's something about it. Welcome to the 2025 Ducati Streetfighter V4S. Now, super privileged. First off, we've got to thank you guys because we're at the factory. We're here at the factory, and we're the only publication in the whole world to come have this kind of access. So it's because of you guys watching and liking and loving and all that sort of stuff, the reason we're here. So thank you. But anyway, what do you reckon, mate?
It's pretty special, this,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And you were saying off camera you'd have this over the Panigale.
I would, yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
I think, all right, if it was solely a track bike,
Yeah.
you'd go Panigale, wouldn't you? But I just really like the way this looks, and I don't feel like me or 99% of people that ride bikes on the road need that extra bit of performance.
Fair enough.
I think
Yeah.
this is, we've not ridden this iteration of it yet. We've both ridden the previous bike, which was a little bit more comfortable than the Panigale. Does pretty much everything you need it to do, and I just think it looks great. So yeah, I'd have one of these.
So we've spent the whole day pretty much chatting to technical design, R&D, engineers, and getting a really good idea. Because we came into this room, looked at the bike, took the covers off and went, "Fucking hell, it looks amazing, but don't know enough about it."
Yeah.
But now we've got a whole day of being absorbed in pretty much everything, top to toe, front to back, body to front. And yeah, I can safely say, well, I think we know a fair amount on this bike. So headline figures, 214 horsepower. Previous model was 208. The whole ethos really was bringing the Street Fighter closer to the name of Street Fighter and just literally taking the fairings off and putting upright bars from the Panigale. So it's closer to the Panigale than it ever has been. 189 kilograms curb, so that's fluids, no fuel. Again, so that's 1.13 horsepower
per kilo. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you get in that side of one,
yeah,
you know you've got a bit of a rocket ship, haven't you? Super nakeds, hyper nakeds, whatever you want to call them. You know, it's nothing new, but I feel like a lot of the time it's a detuned version. You know, they pull the fairings off, put big bars on, and they kind of give you a different version. Whereas it feels like this is just a Panigale, with a few little tweaks here and there that we'll get onto, but it's
more mid-range. They sort of retune it or detune it for more mid-range, better usability. No,
they've given you a full fat version.
So the engine is exactly the same. The only reason the power is a little bit less is the air intake. So you don't have the sort of ram air intake, and the slight modifications to make it a naked bike is the reason that it's just 2 horsepower less. The chassis is also pretty much identical. The rake has been opened up slightly, 0.6 of a degree, and the offset's been changed as well. So the steering head is slightly further forward, and that's basically to make it a naked bike and to cope with the more upright riding position and more relaxed riding position. That's pretty much it for the core of the bike. The tank is 16 litres, and that is because of the seat. Apparently, it's just changed because of the seat. So
16 litres as opposed to 17 litres, which is what the Panigale is.
Yeah.
Do you know what? We've chatted a lot about the wings today, and it's a bit of a touchy subject, I know, for a lot of people, because I think some people still are of the opinion that they're a bit of a gimmick and that you don't need them on a road bike.
Or it ruins the looks of lines. Or
I mean, this day and age, when you've got a bike like this with them sort of power figures, you need all the help you can get to keep the front wheel on the ground, particularly when you take all the bodywork off, and your body, when you're holding onto this bike, your body becomes part of the aerodynamics of the bike,
especially our bodies.
So they're gonna lift the front, take weight off the front wheel. You try and change direction without weight on the front wheel. It's hard work, isn't it? So you've got a device there that's going to help keep that front wheel planted, which does a number of things. It makes the bike more stable, which means you don't have to extend the swinging arm. You don't have to. All right, they've adjusted the front end of the bike a little bit. Whilst them wings are pushing the front of the bike down, you can open the throttle harder and earlier, and so there's an argument to say, on the road, do you really need it when you're only riding up to 100 kilometres an hour. But then, you know, that you could use that argument to say, well, you don't need 4th, 5th and 6th gear then.
Yeah,
you don't
true.
need any more revs than 7,000 revs. It's just not really an argument, is it? So I think there's a time and a place for them, and a bike like this, I think yeah, it works.
And we were chatting to Alessandro Valia, the Ducati test rider, and he was saying that he rode the bike without them. And I've actually asked the engineers as well. I said, you know, would you consider making a bike without them? And they're like, well, what's the point? You know, there's the bike needs it to perform at its best, to not just lap times, but I think they were saying anything from 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, about that. Yeah,
which
makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bike doesn't turn as well, it doesn't perform as well, it doesn't handle as well. So, and also I asked him, I said, do you do wheelie tests? And he said, yeah, we spend all day doing wheelies. I mean,
Yeah.
how cool is that?
Yeah, that's a pretty good job to have. You know, when he was at school and all the naughty boys would like shave a line with their eyebrows, sit at the back of the bus and smoke. It reminds me of them, doesn't it you?
Well, it does now, yeah. yeah. And it's just, again, little things. I'm not really, you know, I kind of look at a bike and I go, wow, you know, that's hot or not or whatever else. But chatting to the designers earlier on, sort of the little things like the grills at the front here, which they serve an aesthetic purpose, but also a cooling purpose and a practical purpose for cooling the back of the headlights. And then again, while we're on that sort of subject, whereas the Panigale damper is in a different place, they had to put it on top here. So there's little things like when you sort of twist the bars, they had to sort of implement these cutouts and the grills, which they look, I mean, obviously it's a design tweak, but there is some sort of method to the madness, if you like, because they're cooling. You've got a lithium-ion battery under there, which, you know, obviously you don't want it to get too hot.
Yeah.
Let's make some grills and...
they look like they're supposed to be there, don't they?
Yes, exactly.
You know, whereas really they're there because...
Yes.
You know...
Yeah.
So you don't smash something.
Yeah. If you, like me, can't afford a new Streetfighter V4, then head over to our competition partners at Apex 66 for a chance to win one of these beauties for as little as a few quid. And join thousands of other winners in winning. There's a link in the description. And this kind of, you said it earlier, this, if you cut the bike here, from literally here down that way, backwards, it's a Panigale, isn't it?
Yeah, if you parked it like sticking out from a wall, you wouldn't, I don't think you'd tell.
No.
Maybe you'd spot the foot pegs if you was a real anorak, but...
I mean, I know I'm going to jump the gun a bit here, but I'm just going to go for it. Obviously, you can still fist the swing arm, so it's exactly the same as the Panigale.
I mean, that'll upset some people, the double-sided swinging arm, but, you know, that's something else we talked about today.
Coping with the internet.
Yeah, you're coping with the internet. The fact is, and it's not just Ducati, every motorcycle manufacturer wants to move things forward. Yeah. And you can't make a bike better if you're stuck to traditional. You know, it's nice to keep some tradition, isn't it? And we all love the old bikes, but you know, if you want an old bike, get an old bike. If you want something that's cutting edge and fast and handles, unfortunately, you're going to have to make certain sacrifices. And if that means having a double-sided swinging arm, and wings, and
I mean, there's a reason that every MotoGP bike has wings, and there's a reason why there isn't a single-sided swing arm in MotoGP. Yeah, I think that's kind of that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, they're not putting wings on MotoGP bikes because they look good, are they?
No, absolutely not. No.
Dashboard, is that the same dashboard as the Panigale?
It is, exactly the same, yeah, like that. 8B3, isn't it? A bit of 8B3.
Yeah, I think it works nice like that. They've split things up.
Yes.
And it's tidy.
There's a lot of info on there, but it's readable and digestible.
There always is on modern bikes, and it's probably really difficult to get all that information neat and tidy. Yeah. I think they've done quite a good job at that.
Yeah. New bars, slightly flatter, aren't they? So whereas before they were a bit more MX bike, they've been sort of stroked backwards. As I said, we talked about the steering damper, tank, the engine. Now, I did say the engine is unchanged. The engine itself is unchanged. The gearbox, first and second gears are shorter than the Panigale, because obviously Panigale race bike, the first gear is much taller. First gear, second gears are shorter. Final drive is also shorter as well. So you've got a 1542 rather than a 1640, is it? 41, sorry, yeah.
Sorry,
41. Quite upset it's not 44 teeth. But you know, that's we heard that's in progress for the next model. So the S model, you get Olin semi-active suspension, the latest generation, forged wheels, and a lithium-ion battery. And mated to those wheels are the Olin's forks, so you get the latest generation Smart EC3 suspension. And obviously we've got high pure Brembo calipers, better cooling, better performance, etc.
Because you need better than the old Stylemers, don't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, there's never, I haven't jumped on a Ducati recently and gone, cool, I need some more brake performance.
No.
You know what I mean? And obviously we've got Olin shock. Now the linkage has been changed to make it more progressive. So if you imagine the curve, the initial part is softer and then it gets stiffer. That's slightly different from the Panigale. The shock springs and the fork spring, shock spring and fork springs are slightly lighter, just for road comfort and joy. The electric setup, the map, if you like, is been tweaked slightly for majority of riders will be riding these on the road. So
I think one of the things we've learnt today, talking to all the designers and the people that have been involved with developing this bike, is it's fairly easy to have a good track bike when you've based it on a Panigale,
yes,
which is what this essentially is.
Yeah.
So I think the steps that they've taken with this bike is, you know, it's already good on track because it's nearly a Panigale. So they've tried to make it, keep that sort of sporty prowess, but make it a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more easy to ride.
Well, it's interesting you say that because they also said that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
One of the hardest parts was obviously you've got the sport bike, and to turn a naked bike or a super bike into a naked bike and make it sporty is easy. Anyone can do that, but making it easier to ride, and even more road bias, easier to use on the road, more every day, blah 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 blah. That's the hard bit.
Without losing the sportiness, without losing that kind of.
Yeah. And interestingly, on that point, we asked what else was difficult in the project, and it had to be the packaging and making it tidy, and you know that kind of thing, all caused by Euro 5+. You know, the ancillaries, the extra bits and bobs, the exhaust, the lambdas, everything else involved in that. That was the tricky part, or one of the tricky parts.
And I guess it's even more difficult on a naked bike, isn't it? Because on the Panigale, you've got some great big fairings that you can kind of cover everything up.
Yeah.
But they did say that, you know, when they're developing the Panigale, they've always got it in the back of their mind that eventually there's going to be a Street Fighter version, and so they're trying to keep, even though the stuff behind the fairings of the Panigale that you won't necessarily see, they're trying to keep it tidy, because when they pull the fairings off, they don't want it to look a mess. There's obviously stuff under there that you quite like to see. You know, you want to see the engine, you want to see the parts, but it's all got to be tidy, and I think they've done an all right job. You know, I'm saying pull the fairings off. For a naked bike, there is still a bit of...
Exactly,
There's still some stuff there.
It's like half fairing.
Yeah, it is like a half fairing. I mean, the kind of black almost disappears it a little bit.
Yes.
But, you know, one thing that fairing does do, that they're telling us, Ducatis sometimes run a little bit hot, don't they?
Yes.
And, you know, on a hot day, you know, stuck in traffic, you can get a bit warm. So what they said they've tried to do is use the bodywork that they've got to direct as much of that heat away from the rider as possible. So, and you can see where they've done it. They've got these kind of vents in the side of these.
Yeah. So if you can come around this side, you can visibly see where the air goes out that way, away from your leg.
Would you have the Panigale over one of these?
Believe it or not, I'm still a superbike guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I was just riding on the road, I'd have this, 100%, because I'd probably end up in jail or in a hedge if I just rode a Panigale on the road. But this is, I don't know why it's going to make me more sensible.
I think you could quite easily put yourself in jail on one of these as well.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, I don't know. Right, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you found this video informative and entertaining at the same time. Unfortunately, there's only one place in the launch. I think we're going to have a scrap now, and also Chris will also be scrapping on probably a Zoom call later on. So, ciao.
Bye.